but I do not really enjoy jumping on, social media and feel obligated to like read everything that pops up and just answering everything, I kind of like say the dichotomy of like, working in social media, that you want to have a good reach.
What happens when I'm antisocial and I have to work on social media? Not that I'm calling you anti.
Yeah, no.
He's definitely antisocial. That's accurate.
So he chimes in. Yeah, this guy. So, I mean, two things. One, LinkedIn does more than any other platform reward you for being social, for networking. I heard it said the other day from my buddy, Marketing Max. He runs a great newsletter called Growth Daily, and I'm co-hosting a show with him right now. And he's like, LinkedIn still makes a lot of their money through their recruiting and their sales navigator, even more so than the ads. And so they're actually kind of bent towards that. And so they like to see people directly engaging with people. And so I've seen it where I'll comment on one of Luis's posts, and guess what? Then I'll see a comment back from him. Well, maybe you're a bad example because you wouldn't, but there is something to the nature of, and also if your email is tied in, where I've been on calls with people, I've been in DMs with people on LinkedIn, I've been emailing back and forth with them. Or I've commented on their posts. All of those touch points with those individuals, I will then see their content more in my feed, and I know that they'll see mine more in their feed. Absolutely. So that's the opportunity. But then the challenge is exactly what you just laid out. And I've felt this over the last 6+ years of like, man, I'm just burnt out of like having to spend time going in and commenting and those sorts of things. Yeah. So here's 2 ways that have worked for me to automate or at least streamline some of this process. Because I don't think the answer, like some people are doing right now, which is so obvious and just is kind of gross, is just turning on AI bots to comment for you. They look all the same. They add no value. They're not going to increase your brand or reputation on LinkedIn. Don't do that. Yeah, here's absolutely. 2 things you can do.
I'm ferociously taking notes, by the way.
Create a customized feed for LinkedIn. So there is a way that you can basically do a search, and you can say like, okay, I'm in B2B marketing. I want to be following Dave Gearhart, Chris Walker, Jay Acunzo. I know has been a previous guest on the show. Like these are some folks where if I'm commenting on their stuff, the people in those comment sections are my ideal buyers, right? And that's an example. You could take this and apply it to HR or manufacturing or whatever. You can basically like create that search of the stuff that you want to see. Show me in the last week posts from these people, and save that to your URL bar. Like this is best on desktop. So I'm, going back to being on desktop rather than mobile. And when you're like, okay, now is my block to like go comment, engage, that sort of stuff. Instead of scrolling forever, it's like, boom, post I want to comment on, boom, post I want to comment on. And you take that 30 minutes and you shrink it down to 10 or 12. Yeah. So that's one strategy I'm going to unpack in a little bit more detail with a full screen share in the LinkedIn course that I'm launching soon. So cool. So that's what you're alluding to. Yeah. So plug there. You can sign up for the waitlist at loganlyles.com. It's LOGANLYLES.
That's what happens when you sign up to that. you hear that in your own bank account. Awesome. Yeah. Not Logan's bank account. I mean, both. Yeah. Because you're going to win. Yeah.
Anyway. There you go.
It's a win-win. That's a win-win situation.
Way to make it awkward.
Trade of value. Content is profit for everybody.
Exactly.
Right. I got to bring it back to the show here. Yeah. And then the second thing is I've been using a tool called Dripify. And again, if you want a link to that, hit me up. But Dripify, I think a lot of people are using for automated sales outreach and biz dev. So it's one of these LinkedIn automation tools where you can say, hey, here's a list of people I've pulled from Sales Navigator. Here's the sequence I want them to go through, send them an in-mail or send them a connection request. After they accept, do this and that. Now, what most people are doing, and I get these all the time, whether they're using Dripify or a similar platform, is then what I call pitch slapping people in the DMs. It's like, oh, we connected. Hey, Luis, are you interested in da-da-da? We build websites at Business Builders. Are you tired of your website not converting? Yeah. No one wants to hear that in the first message, right? But because LinkedIn looks at the people that you're engaging with and puts that content in front of them, if you can streamline some of that process of connecting with the right people, I actually think you could use a tool like Dripify that's maybe more often used for business development and just use it as kind of a channel to help you build up your audience organically. And then like after people connect with you, like my automation is just like, hey, Louis, thanks for connecting. See you around in the feed. Right.
Yeah.
And then maybe, a week or so later, like I might offer like, hey, did you see this post or something like that?
Yeah.
But even if you just said like, these are the people I want to connect with, you build that list, you automate some outreach that is just simply like, hey, I'd love to connect, no pressure. I see that we're both in the marketing space, or we're both in the agency space or HR or whatever. And then just see you around in the feed.
Yeah.
You're going to start to grow your connections. And if you're putting out content, then one thing LinkedIn does is like, if we're new connections, they want to see, does Jay want to see Logan's content? Does Logan want to see Jay's content?
Yeah.
And so one of the things it's going to do is put that content in front of those new connections in their feed. So if you can kind of streamline some of that, you can increase the chances as a new creator on LinkedIn. I use that term really loosely. If you cringe at that, that's okay. But just putting out content on LinkedIn, if that's new to you, this can help you get a leg up.